Hi, this is Melanie for the Pardesi channel. I'm here to talk about the Amazon original series Breathe, starring Madhavan and Amit Sadh. 4 episodes of which just dropped on Amazon Prime on Friday. I binge watched all of the 4 available episodes of Breathe in one day, and then I went because I can tell you my main feeling about it is frustration, because I was into it from the very beginning, and I had looked on IMDb. I was like, well, how long is this series? And I just saw that there were 8 episodes, but I didn't look further to see that we only get 4 right away, and then they're going to release the other episodes week by week. So I left on a cliffhanger, like, what? That's it? It's like, I'm used to being able to binge watch original series like The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel or like Stranger Things or whatever, where you can just keep going and figure, especially with something like this where there's a mystery thriller and you want to know how it's yeah. So it is great. Okay, I'm gonna have a non-spoiler part of this review, and then because I was able to watch 4 whole episodes, I would like to get into a little bit of specifics about things that I liked about it, but that might involve some spoilers. So I will give a warning at that point. I am so excited about this series because I love Madhavan, and he really gets a great role for him to play, and he just runs away with it. So we've seen him before play that tender father, films like A Peck on the Cheek and whatever. I mean, he just embodies it, right? So you can totally believe that someone like Madhavan would be, I mean, that's the twist of it, right? I mean, they told us in the trailer, this is not a spoiler. You know, his son is deathly ill. His son Josh is possibly the cutest little child actor ever. He was so adorable. Anyway, so he cares so much, and his son is critically ill, that he's going to go to desperate measures to find an organ donor for his child. Okay, we knew that already. But it's the how that all happens, in seeing Madhavan being so torn about it and hesitant, and just what it does to him. To see his child be so sick, to see his child be on oxygen, to be told what a short amount of time his son may have if he doesn't get this operation, that you could just, Madhavan is so great in being able to show, even if he's not saying it, we could just see all of those emotions happening on his face. We could just see everything flickering from, terror to sadness to grief to resolve to, all of this he brings forward, and he's so great at doing that. And when I saw the trailer and I saw that Amit Sadh, I kind of guessed, oh, I bet he's going to be the cop. What I didn't know is that because this is not just a movie, because it's a whole series, Amit Sadh gets his own backstory too. They really have equal screen time pretty much. And I wasn't expecting that, and that was a delight, because I am a huge fan now of Amit Sadh. I love him, and I've been wanting him to get better work, better roles, and this is the best I've ever seen him. He blew my socks off. I was expecting greatness from Maddie. We know he's great, right? But Amit Sadh had not really had the chance to get his teeth into a role as meaty as this before. And we have seen this trope of an alcoholic cop with a tortured past. I mean, we've seen that cliche, but I felt like he brought such freshness to it. I mean, when he was waking up from, with night sweats and whatever and terror, like I'm jumping. And he really affected me so deeply with his performance and what little we've been shown in the flashbacks and everything. He just plays this part so well. And it was just, like I said, it was so great to realize, oh my gosh, he's getting equal billing with Maddie. He's not just playing a supporting role. He is a co-lead in this whole series. that is awesome, because the more Amit Sadh I could get, the more I love it. And I'm going to get 8 full hours, so yay. This is still the non-spoiler part, but I just want to say that I loved the credit sequence. Even is brilliant. It's something I don't fast forward because it's so wonderfully done. I enjoy watching it each time, the beginning of each episode. I love it. The first 2 episodes grab you by the throat right away into this whole story. I found it so compelling. Like I said, it's the kind of thing where you just go and you binge, watch one episode after the other, because I was suckered into the whole story right away. I found the storytelling very compelling. Mostly the writing is very good. There was a couple of clunker scenes where the writing just was not exceptional, and I don't know, somebody had mentioned that this might have been written in English and then translated back to Hindi. I don't know if that was the issue, but mostly the writing I thought was very good, and I loved the depth of the characters, especially Kabir, played by Amit Sadh. I felt like there was so much depth to what was going on with him. He wasn't just a cliche, stereotypical cop role. And Maddie's character, he owns a football academy, and then there's the relationship with his mother-in-law that lives with him, and there's more backstory about what's happened in his family dynamic on top of his son being so physically ill. There's a little romance that he possibly has going on with his son's doctor, and so there's all sorts of layers. It's not, when you have a film, you just kind of have to say, you can't go on to kind of these side journeys that flesh out and make characters even more interesting and make them not just a cardboard cutout, but a more flesh and blood kind of character. I'm not giving much away because in the trailer we saw that he has to go to desperate measures to try to save his son. Also the side characters, there's a great, the cop that works with Amit Sadh's character Kabir is played by Hrishikesh Joshi, and I loved his character, all his little quirks and stuff too. He was very watchable. So, but I wanted to get into some more of the details. So now I'm going to go into spoilers. Just ending this section on the spoiler free, just say, it's excellent. It's must watch. I'm like going like this because there was only 4 episodes and I wanted to binge watch all 8 in one day, and I only had 4, and I'm like, ah! So that's my only frustration, is that I couldn't just keep going. All right, so in contrast, for instance, Quantico, which is a full studio production here in the US, I did not find nearly as compelling. Okay, like I stopped watching it. It's supposed to have all these production values or whatever. Okay, getting into the spoiler part now. Last warning. Okay, there was one scene between Maddie and a neighbor who obviously has the hots for him, and she's complaining that her boyfriend is abusive or whatever, and there was just a clunker line that was a one sour note. I think it was in the 3rd episode, and she's like, well, what could be worse than the devil incarnate? And he says, and Maddie says back to her, honesty. I don't know, it just didn't strike me right. That was just a one sour note in an otherwise excellent thing. And so getting into spoilers, if you have seen this, if you haven't seen it, please stop, don't watch this. But I found something that was really interesting. Instead of just being like Dexter, where he just kills people, and then the interesting thing is, how is he going to get them, and how is he going to dispose of their bodies creatively, right? So the twist here is because he's trying to move his son up the organ donor list. I felt it was so interesting how he had to really think through how he was going to kill these people to the point that they were brain dead but could still have their organs harvested for transplant, and how he always had to be really tight with the timing to, that a pizza delivery guy was going to show up or whatever to find the person so they could be taken to a hospital. That was in a whole added layer on top of any other kind of murder mystery kind of thing that I have ever seen before. So that was something new that I really found interesting, how he had to think through all of that and plot it out. And, you know, besides, you know, finding his victims, it was just a whole nother level on top that I had never seen before in anything. And how devastating was it to finally learn what happened to Kabir, Amit Sadh's daughter? I mean, we got a hint of it, and just, oh my gosh, that scene where we get the flashback in the 4th episode was so heartbreaking when he just plays that small little bit of him before the tragedy, and you see what a happy person he was, and then how he is now. Okay, so mostly I find everything excellent, very compelling, but even though we have 8 episodes to tell this whole story, I felt that how Kabir and Maddie's Danny intersect in that 4th episode, how the cops get a clue, just seemed to happen really, really quickly. And maybe that could have been stretched out longer, how they can't really figure out, they've only had really 2 victims, and they're going to piece together what's going on that quickly. That was, I mean, like, I felt maybe they just had to get on with it already. I don't know, but to me, they had done such a great job of setting everything up, and I was fine having the 2 leads having their separate stories and not intersecting necessarily. And I don't know, it just seemed really quick that cliffhanger on the 4th was, okay, now this is how their lives are going to intersect, and that it's a cat and mouse at this point. So, I mean, I was ready, like, I want to watch the next one, but I was also like, boy, that happened really fast, that these cops just kind of randomly figured it out so quickly. I don't know. You know, maybe that could, I don't know how exactly I could have written it better, but I'm just saying, in some ways, you know, I was happy with the pace, and then it was almost like things were deduced. Like, are the cops really that smart to figure that out that quickly? I don't know that I ever, you know, I mean, you could figure out that the one wasn't an accident because of the helmet, but, you know, that it was murder and not an accident. But then to make that leap to, obviously it was because he was an organ donor. I don't know if that completely made sense to me. Let me know what you thought, if you've been able to see and binge watch all the episodes of Breathe, and how much are you looking forward to next week? Like, now I'm like what? I have to wait? Okay, this is so awesome. Instead of just getting a movie for these 2 actors, that I am getting 8 hours of a mini-series that I can rewatch as much as I want. Love this. I love that Amazon is doing this, and I love that we're having a back and forth. It's not that TV is the ghetto anymore. No movie star would want to do TV, that it's becoming a prestige project where you get to do a longer form story and really develop characters. That's awesome. I love it, and I want to see more of this coming. I know Netflix is developing a series with Saif Ali Khan, so I can't wait to see that as well. This arms race between Netflix and Amazon is only good for us, the viewer, because it's giving us, you know, their battle, the 2 companies' battle is giving us great content to watch, and that's so awesome. Anyway, let me know what you thought of Breathe in the comments. Please like this video and share it. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at PardesiYT. Subscribe here to Pardesi and hit the bell, and then you'll get a notification whenever I have a new video or trailer reaction.